Have you ever heard the expression, I just can't get the team I need? Or have you heard, God, my team, God, it's painful. I'm having to fix everything for them. I'm having to do everything for them. Of course you have. Have you heard it from someone sitting in your chair at the moment? Have you said those words or something similar? The frustration of team. It is painful, isn't it? I'm Andrew Laurie from BGB, and I want to talk about, on the one hand, let's recognise the pain that comes with teams sometimes, the frustration when it's not working. But equally, I want to talk about just some of the simple keys to making it work. Because in the end, getting the team right is a fundamental part of creating a successful business. If you ever want the business to work without you, clearly you need a team that's working well. Let's talk about the problems though. What goes wrong? What do we hear? Okay, we get people coming on board who turn out not to be right. Or maybe they were right, but they don't get going. They take a long time to get productive. It gets frustrating. Initially, it's just a little annoying. Then it gets frustrating. Then it gets really irritating. And then it gets anger-inducing. And at some point, you just bite the bullet and get rid of them. There are times when the team is just not very productive. And then worse still, there are times when they're bad. They're making mistakes, causing problems with customers, with suppliers. It's costing you money. It's your business. There are times, of course, where maybe it doesn't get so bad because you dive in and solve everything. You do everything comes back to you. Every decision comes back to you. The critical activities come back to you. No sales ever get made unless you go in and make them. Yep, we're all familiar with these problems. And you sit there and you think, I started this business. I had this idea that I was going to have freedom. I was going to have time and money. I was going to play golf. I was going to go sailing. I was going to spend time with my family. Whatever it was you were going to do. And it's not happening. You are still there. You're having to be there. If you're not there, things go pear-shaped. That's the frustration with teams. Yeah, we all know. I mean, it's just a statement of fact. Unless the team works, you're going to have to. So if you own a business and you want it to work without you, that is to say, you don't want it to collapse because at some point you're going to stop. So if you want the business to be successful, if you want it to work without you, you're going to have to get your team working well. Now, I think every business I work with now has passed this point already. Doesn't depend on the owner at all on a day-by-day basis. Fine, some of them still want to be involved, but they oversee some things. They get involved, they make another acquisition. They launch the business into a new category, into a new geography. They're doing the fun stuff, whilst probably still having more holidays as well. So they're having the good side of business and still being a bit involved in business. Now, for some people, they choose then to sell the business, and that's fine as well. Perhaps that's what comes next for you. First things first, you've got to get the business to the point that it works without you, so the team has to be up to speed. What are the key things? I'm not going to go into every detail. You'll see another video coming out on the most critical diagnostic tool, how to identify the primary opportunities to improve the performance of your team or of even just an individual in your team. But for now, I'm going to talk about the macro factors. So let's start at the beginning chronologically. Have you got a set of systems in place in the business that give a new team member, or by the way, an existing team member, a reasonable chance of doing it the way you want? Have you actually defined what that way is? Have you codified it? Whether that's in process charts, step by step, maybe a checklist, maybe a video of someone doing it well, you doing it well, whatever it is. Maybe defining the standards or the speed with which things have to be done. Codifying the processes. If you've done a good job of that, much greater chance that staff are going to stick to it and do it the way you want. And by the way, new staff are going to be able to do that much faster. Great, so you've got a set of systems and processes in place. Chronologically, the next thing would be recruitment. Have you got a strong recruitment process? The recruitment process we advocate requires 5 hours of your time to recruit someone terrific, someone with the right attitude, the right mindset, that right approach. They're going to fit with the team and they're going to really get in there and give it a good show. So recruitment critical. Then onboarding. You know, that frustration of somebody coming in a month in, they're not quite up to speed. 2 months in, it's getting annoying. 3 months in, frustrating, and so on. Can all be avoided with a disciplined onboarding process. Very simple. It's incredibly straightforward. You simply have to have the discipline to do it. Being clear day one where the new person needs to be after 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months. Having good conversations with them through that time so they know they're on track. Or, by the way, they pick up early when they're not on track, and plenty of support for them. Yep, rule of thumb, when you've got a new person working for you in the first week, I expect to spend 20 hours with them. Second week, 10 hours with them. Third week, 5 hours, and so on. Now, that is a rule of thumb. And to some people, they say, wow, that's a lot, Andrew. That's an awful lot of time. Yeah, but invest that time in the first 2 or 3 weeks, and it pays off in spades. If you get a new team member and they really do get up and running, they become productive quickly, fantastic. Makes all the difference. So a good onboarding process is critical. And then in an ongoing sense, doing the basics of management. You don't necessarily have to be the world's greatest leader. You don't need to be this charismatic god of leadership that we've all read about or heard about. Just do the basics. If you haven't already, you can either download our diagnostic tool or my book, The 30 Essentials of Management, lay out just the 30 straightforward things every manager should do to get the best out of their people. Nothing in there is particularly complicated. There's no rocket science in there, very straightforward. You just need to do it. So doing that is important. So now we've got the systems in place. You're recruiting the right sorts of people. You're onboarding the right sorts of people. You're doing a good job of those things and you're managing them properly. You're doing at least the basics of managing them properly. At that point, you've got every chance that those people are going to be successful. One of the systems you put in place will be around the rhythm of interaction. The weekly meetings, the monthly meetings, the quarterly plan, various meetings, various interactions, various communication. That's one of the systems. It's an important one. Now, at the end of the day, if you have these things in place, you've got every chance of having a successful team. A team that soon enough runs the business for you, gives you that freedom that you thought business ownership would deliver. It's an exciting point when you get to it. Yes, I know there are plenty of painful moments along the way. For some people, you can avoid them. And if you find them, you can get over them very quickly. Do the basics, enjoy it, enjoy your team, enjoy your business. All the best.